So the first on your own lesson that we did was about cultural differences. And the first video that we watched that I felt was very informative was by a woman named Erin Meyer. She talked about some of the cultural differences in communication between different countries and people from different countries, especially in the business atmosphere. I felt that this video was very informative and was very applicable to understanding people from different backgrounds and different cultures and how they are able to communicate. So she talked about three topics that I thought were very useful to understand and learn more about. The first one that she discussed was the low context, high context form of communication. Within that, what she talked about is how the low context countries and cultures are very, very simple. They're very clear and to the point with what their message is, what the assignment is within the business. These people need to make clear to their people that this is what you need to do, and this is what exactly I want to have or how it needs to be done. Whereas in high context cultures, that is not so much the point of the message. It's usually a little bit more intuitive and for people to be able to understand what the person wants done, and so they can kind of determine that on their own. The next thing that she talked about was how there is difference in feedback, and some people give very indirect feedback. So in like an American culture, generally we like to kind of address people and talk to them in the way that, hey, well, you did this well, but maybe we could do this a little bit better. And so it's a little bit more indirect, where it's not kind of pushing all the things wrong in the person's face, but hoping that they can kind of interpret for themselves what they've done wrong and then correct them. Whereas in other cultures, it's very direct. And so like in France, everything that is wrong, they point out and tell you that is wrong. And they're not really giving any positive feedback, just everything wrong that you need to fix in order to become better. And the last thing that she talked about was silence, and how silence is kind of interpreted different in different cultures. And so in some countries, silence is kind of a way for people to be able to think and give time for each person to be able to respond. Whereas other countries like America, silence is not as much welcomed because people don't like it as much, and there's usually every person is supposed to talk right after the next, and there's not supposed to be long periods of pause. And so I felt that this video was very informative, as well as the other ones on culture and how it's important to understand and learn from others in order to gain a better perspective on different countries and how people work, and to be able to understand each other much better.